Hey everybody, James from Britical Saiyans here, and today I'm going to be showing you the superhero Piccolo deck. Not sure how to spell it, but it's kind of the accurate name. So, as always, we start the leader card. So it's got auto, discard one card from your hand. When this card attacks, look at up to 5 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 1 yellow card from amongst your hand, then shuffle your deck. So you just get any yellow card of your choice, which is really good because there's no cost restriction, there's no type restriction, it's just a yellow card. The only thing is you have to discard, and there's quite a bit of discard in the deck, so thankfully there are some things that work with it. And it's got Awaken of, if your life is at 4 or less, or you have a mono yellow Sun Gohan Superhero Z bout card in play, so this little boy, you draw 1, switch up to 1 energy to active mode, and then you go down to 6. So, obviously you only do that if you're above 6. So then on the other side you've got Facing New Foes. You've got 2 autos, the first one being once per turn. If it's your turn, when you play a yellow card from your drop or as a bout card, you draw 1, and then its autos switch to when it attacks, you draw 1, then discard 1. So whereas before you had to discard search, now you just draw and then discard. So you get a bit more options on what you do. And then it's got an active battle once per turn. You can discard a card from your hand, use up to one yellow battle card with 5k combo power from your drop in a combo with its skills gain for a turn, and then this gains 1k for the battle. So you're able to ditch a card, play out a 5k combo, and gain an extra 1k power. So you essentially gain 6 combo by ditching 1 card, which you could just discard a 5k combo and make it easier on yourself. It's a useful skill, but I find that I don't use it as much as I probably should. Start with, we'll go into the Z deck, because for this deck it will definitely explain some of the cards in the deck. So start with, we have 4 of Gohan Facing New Foes. This is a definite 4 of in the deck. You need it because it's got so many cards that tied into it. You've got the lead skill, you've got some other card skills. Actually, it's just a way to get your boss out. So it costs 2 NG and ZNG. It's got deflect, dual attack, 15k. Pretty much anything that comes from Z deck has deflect, which is really good. But once they leave the field, they're gone from the game. So he's got a permanent of reduce the EX of all skill cost of your yellow Sun Gohan superhero cards in your hand or drop by 2. And then if your leader is a yellow Piccolo superhero, when this card is played, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and switch it to rest mode. And then you just get a nice 15k dual attacker. Like I said, definite 4 off in this deck, but in other decks you could run it as just a dual attack. And the other one for the deck is 2 copies of Super Saiyan Blue Son Goku Evolved Defender. You could also run the Oolong, I just don't have any, but you can only have a max of 7, so you need the 4 Gohan and then just a split between this and Oolong at your own choosing. So Goku, not Gohan, has Deflect Barrier and 25k, costs 3 and 2 ZNG. He's got 2 autos, first being when this is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle leader using or battle cards in rest mode, and it can't attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. So you just pick a rest mode thing and make it a vanilla for a turn, which is really nice. And if it's in rest mode, when your opponent plays a card, so in any way, if they play a combo piece, if they play a battle card, if they play unison, whatever they do that involves something coming out, you can then trigger this. You place one of your ZNG in the drop. If you do, choose one of your opponent's battle cards or using cards, switch it to rest mode and negate its skills for the turn. So it's kind of dumb that it's not once per turn, it's just you have to keep sending your ZNG, but it's just a way of negating something that comes out or that's already out on the field. So into the main deck, we'll start with the unisons. So we've got 2 of Kaioken Goku Reclaiming Hope. So specify cost 2, 15k, it's got blocker, +1 active main, choose which one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost greater than the current energy, greater than or equal to the current energy even, and it can't attack until the end of your opponent's next turn, so it's just a way of stopping something big. And then it's got a +0 auto, choose one card in your battle area, switch to rest mode. When you activate blocker, you can switch to active mode. Then you can just go block, switch up to rest mode, gets back as a blocker, go for the battle step, and then you can block it again. I just have this in here as a secondary unison because there are things that benefit from having a yellow unison, and because it's specified cost 2, it's searchable with card effects. Our main unison for the deck though is Pan facing new foes, which obviously is a 4 of. So she also specified 2, 15k, it's got permanent. If you have a Son Gohan superhero in rest mode, your opponent can't attack this card. So it creates itself a deadly defender out of any Gohan in rest mode. It's got auto of you pay 1 yellow. If your leader is Piccolo, when this card is discarded from your hand, you can play it from your drop from rest mode with a marker on it. So like I said, it's something that you can throw from your leader's cards, go for the auto step of that, and then this can come out and rest, give itself a marker. And then both its skills are active main +2, so you never shy on markers and it just generates them super easy. So you either draw 1 and discard 1, or as your secondary active main, you can choose a Gohan in rest mode in your battle area. It gains 10k power until the start of your next turn. So that way you have your deadly defender and you've given it an extra 10k, but it can only stop attacks on this. So it's worth it, so you may as well do it. Right, going to the X cards, there isn't a lot of these. Of course, the yellow staple of 2 Nimbus, so just negate the attack, drop a yellow, your opponent can only attack 1 more time with battle cards for the turn. Doesn't stop your instants or leaders, but if you tie it into one of those cards attacking, makes it more painful. We've got 2 Giant Ball, just counterplay. When the battle card is played, you choose it, switch it to rest, and draw a card. So it's just a nice drawing counterplay. There's 2 copies of the Realm of the Gods Black Kamehameha. So this is active battle. If your leader is yellow, choose which one of your cards and gets 10k for the battle. And then if it's your turn, you choose which one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it. If it's your opponent's turn, you draw a card, then you choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards and switch them to rest mode. So in your turn you can KO a rest mode card, in your opponent's turn you can rest 2 of theirs and draw. So it benefits more in your opponent's turn than your turn, but it's not bad either way. And then we've got a single copy of Restrain. So counter if you leave yellow, negate, choose which one of your opponent's cards cost 1 or less, and switch to rest. And then you can use it from the drop by paying its cost and removing itself +1 card from your hand from the game, but you can only use the counter skill once per turn. So you can easily get away with like running 1 or 2 of these because it's essentially double its worth. And with the lead discarding cards, it's just another thing to chuck without much worry. And we've also got a singular copy of Frieza Army Reinforcements. So it's just a yellow negate that can then play you 10k blocker for the turn, and you can activate it on 5 or less by just taking a life instead of paying to 2. And again, it's just a nice one-off to have. You can tweak, add more. I just didn't want to overrun with extra cards, and I needed to get some like counterplay in there and whatever else. But obviously, to each their own. So going into the battle cards now, we'll start with all the 1-drops. Give us all of them. So to begin with, we've got 2 copies of the Assault Krillin. It's just got an auto. When it attacks, you can add a card from life to hand. If you do, it gains 10k in crit. So it's just a self-awakener. It's mostly there to help you get down from 6 to 4 because, again, early awaken and your opponent could just decide to not attack you and just start beating up your other things. So it's just a way to help you out. There's a singular copy of Godly Destruction Whis, so it's just on place draw, and then once per turn, when your opponent switches their energy to active mode using a non-awakened skill during their turn, you can place one of that energy in the drop, so it's just there as a bit of blue destruction. You can easily drop this, run another Krillin or something else. It's entirely up to you. I just have it in here because I need to fill space. And then we got a copy of Mutato, or Mutaito, I don't know. Skill of the Sage, so it's got counterplay. When this is played, if it's your opponent's turn, and you may place this card in its own drop area. If you do, choose up one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost greater than their energy, ignoring barrier, switch it to rest, and that battle card can't be switched to active until the start of your next turn. So it just stops something big from attacking you for a turn, which is really good. Next we got 4 copies of Pan Growing Up Fast. So she's got unique, barrier, 4k, auto, when it's played you draw a card. And it does have an active main of, if the leader is Piccolo, and you have a Gohan Z battle card in play, you can play this card from your hand in rest mode. So as long as this is on the field, this just comes out for free, it draws you a card, and then it just sits there being a pan, which allows you to trigger some of your effects in the deck, and just fills your board up. So the next one drop we have is 4 copies of Piccolo, Heart of a Teacher. So when it's played, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 1 Earthling or Namekian, both yellow with an energy cost of 4 or less, or 1 yellow unit with a specified cost of 2 to your hand and shuffle your deck. So you're able to hit pretty much any Saiyan in this deck, and the only Namekians you're going to hit is Piccolo, because this is the only Namekian in the deck, but you can hit Gohan, Pan easily because it picks an Earthling or Namekian. It's also got active main / battle. If your leader's the Piccolo card and you switch it to rest, you draw a card, discard a card. So it just generates your discarding effects a lot easier. And our final one drop is 4 copies of Son Gohan Paternal Love. So it's just a one cost of 4k in barrier. And it's got limit 1 if your leader is the yellow Piccolo. When it's played from your hand, you can either draw a card or you can search a Pan Growing Up Fast from your deck and add it to your hand. So ideally you just pick the Pan, play the Pan out, you have a Pan battle card on the field, ready to go. And yeah, it's just in there as a search power, and there's a like throwaway card. Or you can just use draw one. Literally depends on your situation, but I would definitely say if you can search Pan, you search Pan. So going into our 2 costs, we've got our super combos for the deck, which is 2 of the Divine Cry Beerus and 2 Krillin Merits for Comeback. Beerus is a Sparking 5 super combo, just because we awaken early. And then Krillin is the 4 less one, as long as everything's yellow, you draw 2 by putting 1 to the bottom of your deck. So, just a good split on an early awaken leader. And our other 2 cost is 2 of the Greater Goku Saiyan Instincts, or as we like to call it, Draw Monkey. It's literally just active main, pay 2, warp it from drop to draw 2 cards. It's a Draw Monkey. That's all you do with it. And it's an excellent target for any discarding skills like our lead card. So going to the 3 costs, we've got a copy of Mecha Frieza Robotic Repose. So it's just counter negate player's card. If your leader is yellow and your opponent has 2 or more energy, reduce the energy cost of the card in your hand by 1 for each yellow extra card in your energy and drop area. We have a good number, and we're going to be discarding cards with our effects, so it's easy enough to do. When it's played from your hand, each time your opponent would attack with a non-unison card, This turn, they must choose one of their cards in active mode and switch to rest mode. So it forces them to lose a card to attack a card outside of their unison. And you can send it to go into a Mega Freezer, but there's no Mega Freezer. So, next we've got 4 copies of Pan Inherited Bloodline. So this card is a staple to the deck and is a definite 4 of, if you can run 3 at least. So she's got Deflate, Unique and Dual Attack. Permanent, if it leaves the battle area, it's removed from the game instead. And then she's got 2 autos, the first being pay 1 yellow. If your leader is yellow and your opponent has 2 or more energy, when you place this card from your Z energy into your drop to pay the Z energy cost of a mono yellow Z battle card with an energy cost of 2 or more, you place cards from your drop, then choose it from one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, and KO it. So when you send it off with the Z energy, you play it out. So this is definitely the, like, you want to combo and charge these into your Z energy as soon as you can. Like, just any of them you see, send it straight there. And then it's got the secondary auto, when this attacks, use up to 1 mono yellow card with 5k combo from your drop in a combo, negating its skills for the battle. So then, like when it attacks, you get a free combo from your drop, you restand it, you swing again, you get a secondary free combo. So it's always hitting for 15 at least, which makes it really good, and hence the fact that once it's gone, it's gone. Like, but it's definitely something you want 3 or 4 of in, I'd say, most yellow decks now actually. You could just run it as a 3 of in any yellow, but it also comes down to spacing and yada yada yada. Next I'll just show these 2 together. So we've got a single copy of both of Steadfast Goku and Prideful Transformation Vegeta. They're both just blocker counterplays. The Goku, you play in the card being played goes into rest mode, and this comes out, and you draw a card, and you reduce its cost by 1 for extra cards in your battle, drop and energy. And Vegeta is the card being played goes to rest mode. If your unison has 2 or more markers, it doesn't cost you anything. So they're both just nice to have. I only have 1 of each, but here's one of them. So for the 4 costs of the deck, we just have 4 copies of Super Saiyan Son Goku, Guardian of Earth, Son Gohan, Guardian of Earth. I'm getting names muddled up stupidly. So it's a 19k blocker, it's got Auto Limit 1, Spirit Boost 1, pay yellow. If you lose yellow and this is discarded, you play it from your drop, and you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, switch to rest mode, and it's just a 19k blocker, so a nice awkward number. And then if it activates its blocker skill, you can switch it to active mode, so it can be used twice as a blocker, and it just comes out pretty easy because you just discard it, which is what the deck does anyway. Finally, going to our 8 cost, which are the big guns of the deck, there is 2 copies of Son Gohan Flash of Brilliance. So this is the boss monster for the deck. I only have 2. I'd definitely say it's worth having as a 4 of, because you want to see it in your drop as soon as you can, so then you can start doing your other effects. You could easily just lose like the Krillins or Eternal Love and the Whis, like whatever you want. I just have 2, but definitely a 3 of at bare minimum, but I'd definitely say run 4 if you can run 4. So it's got Deflect, Dual Attack, EX Evolve, Limit 1 by paying a yellow and 2 energy onto a yellow Gohan. But as we know before, this reduces the cost by 2, so it just costs a yellow, and you can just pop it straight on top of this guy. It's got 2 permanents and 2 autos. So its first permanent is when it be removed from battle area, removed from the game, and you can also use its EX Evolve from your drop as a secondary permanent. First auto, when if you have 4 more energy and a yellow Pan superhero in play, when this is played, it gains double strike and barrier for the turn. So then it just becomes a 30k dual double striker, with barrier, which is really useful. And then if you have a yellow user in play, when this card attacks, choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, negate its skills and KO it. So again, we want to use in play, do its other effects, and this can just swing twice, 30k, double strike. After which point, if you have this unit out, you can just go +2, 10k. You have to beat my 40k before you can start beating my unison. So, it is really powerful. The only downside is it only gains barrier for your turn, and obviously, if it leaves, it's just gone. So, that can be very tricky with things that just scoop up the board, because it's like, well, that's going there, and then it's just going in general. And finally, just because I have it, we got a copy of Supreme Kai. Half time. I should move some fish. So, Secret Barrier, so it's got Ultimate, it's got 40k, permanent, if you're being moved from barrier, move from game instead, just like the Gohan. And it's got Active Main, you pay 1, choose this card and all of your opponent's battle and unison cards and send them to the owner's warps. So it just wipes your opponent's field. And an active battle, if you have 3 or more energy, you play this card from your hand. If you do, your opponent can't attack with their leader or unison cards for the turn. So ideally, you play it during your opponent's turn and just turn off a load of attacks. You have 40k ready during your turn, you swing it, you bounce it, wipe their field. And yeah, it's just in here because I have one. So, there we are. That is the Piccolo superhero deck profile. Leave thoughts in the comments below, always fun to read. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye!